folks, welcome back to Doc's Entertainment. This is RevDocs here, and today we're going to be going into a how-to guide for Lego Fortnite. I've watched a lot of people playing Lego Fortnite from the start, and myself included have made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and have seen them asking a lot of questions. So today we're going to be going through and we're going to answer some of those questions. We're also going to be going through showing some of the quickest ways to getting resources to the beginning to give yourself a really strong start. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and create a new world. Now, you can have two options here. You have your either survival or your sandbox mode. Sandbox is kind of like creative, where you can go in and you can do whatever you want. You have access to all the materials, all the equipment, but we're going to be starting out with survival, since that's what this is about, is how to survive. Now, the cover image is exactly what it says. It's a cover image. It has no effect on your gameplay whatsoever. So whatever you want it to look like, that's what it's going to be for you. So when you go in to go start your world, you put in the seed number. It will generate a world based upon that seed number right away. But that world is only limited to how big it can actually be. Now you can put in pretty much anything you want. Right now we're going to leave it blank and we're going to go completely random. Now there are some options that you can have right off the back. Things like you can turn your enemies off. You can turn your hunger off. You can turn temperature off, which kind of takes away from the survival aspect of it. One thing I like to actually do is turn off stamina, but it will affect certain things like, say, for example, how long you can run. However, you do stop speed running periodically anyway, so that's not that big of a deal there. One of the reasons why I turn it off is because later on you get a glider that you can use, and that glider, you have a certain amount of stamina that you can use with that glider. Now the problem for me there is there are a lot of gliders that have bands on them today that you don't need to have any stamina for. You just rest in it and fly. So I'm turning stamina off so that it makes the gliding more realistic, and because you automatically stop running anyway, it doesn't really affect that aspect of it. Keeping elimination is so you can die or not. I'm going to keep that turned on. Drop inventory upon elimination. Now, some people turn that off. For example, my wife turns that off because she doesn't like dropping stuff when she dies. Myself, personally, it doesn't matter, so I'm going to leave it on. We do want friendly creatures, and we do want villagers. So we'll start with that. Now, once you get those set up in the beginning, unlike with Minecraft, you cannot change this once the world is started. So make sure you have those all set beforehand. So now we're going to go in, we're going to create the new world. And now we're starting into the new world, and I have no idea what this world's going to be. I haven't tested it at all. It's a brand new world, completely from scratch. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so once we start, as we started here in this world, more often than not, you're going to start off in the grasslands. And if you look around you real quick, you can see off in the distance there is the snow biome. We don't want to go there, at least not to start. Off in the distance this way, we actually have the desert biome. This is a very good starting location because we have both biomes real close. On top of that, we have a cave right there, which is absolutely awesome having a cave that early on, that close. You're not generally going to have that, so you will have to look a little bit, but this will allow me to show you what the caves look like right away. Now, you're either going to have Cuddle Team Leader or you're going to have Bright Bomber as your initial person, so you will want to talk to them to get some information on how to start. But the main thing they're going to tell you is to pick up resources like wood and food, so you're going to find a lot of things like pumpkins right off the back, wood laying on the ground, granite. Okay. If you're having problems finding stuff on the ground, these small birch trees you can punch to get started, and they will drop a number of pieces, usually 3 or 4 per thing. So now what we want to do is we want to find a place to build our first village. We want some place smooth, not too much hills in the area. So this looks like a pretty good start right here. So we'll plop down our simple little fire. Now we can right away build a workstation, a crafting bench, or a simple shack. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people have made the mistake of building the crafting bench first. That's not a good idea, because if you build the crafting bench, it can only be used, it can't be used when it's raining. So you want to make sure you have a roof over that as soon as you can. So first thing we want to do is we want to go through and continue gathering resources. Now if we get this little spiders, they're the easiest ones here. 3 hits, they die. No big deal. Just keep your eye on that. We want to come around, we want to grab some more resources, because we do want to... Now that we have the ability to build this starter shack, we can't really do anything with it yet until we actually build it. So let's get the resources we need to build it. We'll start again by getting small trees, picking up whatever we can find in the area. Now we could also punch bushes. The bushes themselves will give us 1 piece of wood, but they'll also give us a lot of vines, which we'll need later on. You'll see some people will sit here and they will attack the wildlife. Don't, because you can actually pet them. And once you pet them, they drop resources for you that you'll need. So you'll want to take advantage of that as much as you can right off the back. Another thing you can do is you can take and drop some vines. One of them will come over, eat it. As they eat the vines, they're also going to drop resources. So make sure you take advantage of these early game options for resources. Alright, now that we have this, before it starts getting too dark, we want to build the shack. I like to build it as close to the fire as we can, because it's going to be cold. We should have enough resources to build this all in one go. And the reason why I'm building this shack first, for two purposes. One, again, as I said, we cannot use the crafting bench in the rain, and it rains almost consistently the first night. And 2, now that we have that, we can now do one of the other tricks I utilize. Once you go through and do that, it's the easiest way to get a lot of resources really fast here, because it will break anything that it comes across, aside from the really big trees and really big rocks. So now, as you see, I'm gathering tons of wood really quickly here. And I have not built a pickaxe or a axe yet. This just completely... It also doesn't take care of bushes, but it does take care of a lot of this other stuff. So you can see here, we got rocks. We're going to need rocks for building. So we'll set this down. Again, break it. And there we go. We've got a ton of rocks right off the back. And we can keep doing this over and over again. We want to gather as much as we possibly can before nightfall. So wherever you see piles of rocks or trees, make sure you're gathering up the materials. As you can see, in just that little while, we have some extra materials that we've gotten, some fertilizer, some wool, some silk from the spiders. We've got about half a stack, a little over half a stack of wood and stone. As you see, it's raining, which means we're not going to be able to use the thing in the rain. Now, you cannot use this wall trick on this tree because it's too big. What I think is the deciding factor is with this tree, when it breaks, it actually creates another two different forms, the stump and then a log that falls. I think if that's the case, it won't allow this trick to work. So you can't use it on these really big trees. That alone makes me think that this was actually something they designed in, which means it's most likely not going to get patched out. So this isn't necessarily a glitch, as it is a, I think it's a design system. So make sure that you gather as much as you can by doing this. I'm going to continue doing this real quick until the sun goes down. It is getting dark now, so we'll grab this last few things on the way back to camp. When you're by the campfire, if you see in the upper right hand corner of your screen here, there's my hearts, which is telling me how much health I have. The green circle, bars, circles that's going around me now, that's how my hunger is measured. Underneath that, there is blue on the left and red and orange on the right. That is showing what temperature I'm at. I'm currently hungry, so I'm going to eat a couple of pumpkins. That's going to, as you can see, fill up my health and fill up my hunger bar quite a ways. Now that I've done that, I now have an option to build a lot of other stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by building the workbench right away. Again, put that underneath the shack because we want to be able to use it like now. If it was in the rain, we couldn't use it. So for example, if I built it out here, we can't use it because it's in the rain. However, as you can see, okay, paying attention to how much resources I currently have. If I don't want it there, what I can do is I can break it and I get back all the resources I used to make it, which means I could basically just move it over here and make it again anyway. So a lot of the questions people have is, can we move things that we've set down? And yes and no. You have to break them first, but you do get all the resources back, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so we do want to have a bed. Now, unlike Minecraft, we cannot sleep the night away. So, what's the point of a bed?
It's just a respawn generator.
Yeah, the point of the bed actually is couple-fold. One, it does reset your respawn, so that if you die, you will respawn on this bed, which is a good thing to keep in mind. So if you're going to be going off traveling a long distance, make sure you have enough materials on you to build a bed. That way you can respawn there rather than having to run all the way back. The other thing that it does is if you lose health, which it's going to take a little bit for me to lose health here, but I'm going to lose a little bit. In the meantime, while I'm doing this, might as well gather some more resources, right? Can always have more wood and more granite. Trust me, you're going to need more wood and more granite. There we go. Now we'll beat up this spider. Now that we've got a little bit of health loss, come back over here, lay in the bed, and your health regenerates. So that's the other use of a bed, is to regenerate your health without having to use food or anything. Alright, so now that we have these two things, What we're going to want to do is we're going to place a second bed. Now, we don't need a second bed at the moment because your person that you're talking to start is not going to join your party. But what we are going to need it for is going to be for a village square. We want to build that right away. The reason we want to build that right away is because with the village square, we get villagers who are actually very useful. Now, as you see around us, there's a gold wall out there in the distance. That shows what the area is that this village square totem is going to be marking off. That's your village. So this is the center of it, so we want to place that down. Now you can change whatever icon you want to use for it, or whatever color you want for that icon. So right now we're just going with that. Each time you level up your village, you're going to get more build options. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. For example, by just placing that, we've got this double shack we can now build. We've got multiple other options that we can build here. So that we can actually create our own unique builds. Now that we have that, next thing we want to do is we want to build another section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to go to General Builds. Because these actually take... We could do this a couple of different ways. To start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to just create a wall in the background. Actually, let's show it this way. We're going to do a general foundation. Okay, now if you notice right off the back, the foundation that I have here is much higher than the foundation there, right? Well, if I aim at that one, and I hit, in this case, it is L2 for snap mode. But if you look at the bottom of your screen, you can see it'll tell you what you can push to activate the various different functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down here. Okay. With that, I'm going to place a wall on the back. Again, it's going to be connected to this one. Now, I could place another roof like that. Not quite sure I want to. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to place a floor. Because this is just going to be a shack, basically. So what we want to do is we want to bring this out so that it connects like so. And now this is just going to make sure that we can place our work stuff under here and not have to worry about it being out in the open again. So now we're going to place down this
Damn it.
wood mill. Alright. We want to make sure that we're trying to utilize as much space as possible here. So now with that, we have unlocked a few other things. So what I want to do is I want to do some wood planks right away. We'll want to go with 10 start. And we already have everything we need now to upgrade. So again, upgrade your village right away as soon as you can. We're already mostly way through. And we've got a pretty good start right here. So now with this, we're going to be able to continue expanding, getting larger. Now we could go through and build, as you can see here, we can go through and build a pickaxe, we can build a shovel, we can build a regular axe. We don't want those, however, not right now. What we're going to do is we're going to take these rods, we're going to come over here, we're going to make this sword. Now the reason why we don't want those is because, again, we don't really need them at this stage. They're not all that useful at this stage. Now, I like to get rid of all these little icons that's showing that we have new stuff to go over. For me, it's part of my just making sure that I have everything that I taken care of. I can see what's there. And it's just annoying having that thing sitting there saying, hey, look at me. So, again, just build the simple wall. Right now, the axe won't do any better for taking down that wall than your fist does. In fact, it's worse. The pickaxe is better at taking down builds than a axe is, which is kind of weird, but that's the way they have it designed. However, this pickaxe does not do any better because there's no durability loss with your hand, whereas with the pickaxe, there is a durability loss. So for right now, this is still the best option. So for the next couple of days, what you're going to probably want to do during the day at any point, is you want to sit here and gather resources as much as you can. And this is the quickest and easiest way to do so. Now later on, there is a much quicker option for getting materials. But for right now, this is your best. Another option that you can try is going over to the platforms, build a base foundation, build a second base foundation. You want that a little bit out from the first one, and then build a smaller foundation on top. Now this does take a little bit more wood. Break the bottom foundation. Now what that does is that makes this top foundation one that you can actually push around. You push that into the trees, and again, it will just take them all down for you. This, I'm not sure, is something that you were supposed to be able to do. So I'm not sure if this one's going to get patched necessarily. But it's still an idea for helping get resources pretty early on. And again, it should work on any trees other than the great big ones. But it's a little harder to control, and so it can take a little bit longer overall than my strategy, which is why I don't tend to use this one. Because mine, as you can see, I could just run right to where I want, place my wall down, slap it a couple times, and I've got my resources. And then I move on to the next target, do the same thing, and keep doing that. Real easy, real quick. You generally want to try to stay uphill when you're doing these, because what's actually happening is the materials, as they're sliding along, that's what's breaking the other stuff. So you want them to give the materials the best chance to slide as possible to possibly break wider range of areas. Go away. See how wide a range that area was that time? Took out multiple rocks plus a tree. And you can get some really nice runs this way. I know you can punch these small trees as I showed you before. However, these small trees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to break a small tree. Whereas if I use the wall, 1, 2, 3, and it breaks the small tree. So it's a whole lot better. Now that it's starting to get dark, we head back to our little village with everything that we've gained throughout the day. Okay, so looking at this now, you can see throughout the day while the sunlight was out, I was sitting here gathering resources and whatnot else. I've used a little bit to build some stuff up in the meantime. I currently have, from just that one day run, 150, about 150 wood and 5 wooden rod, and over 100, almost 115 granite that I have built up, plus a couple of extra odds and ends resources that were built up. So what does that mean? That means that now that it's nighttime, rather than running around gathering resources like a goof nut and possibly getting myself attacked by skeletons and whatnot else, I can sit here and build up my resources. I can build up my village, I can build new buildings, I can add in more furniture if I want to, or I can add more equipment to my stuff. So in this case, I'm going to add a grill, because you know what? Cooked food is good. Now the grill, unlike your other stuff, your grill can be outside. It does not need to be under a roof. So you can place your grill down. Now with that, if you have any meat or corn or anything like that, which again we didn't gather any this time, we could use that. One thing that we do want to get, however, is this. For this, we're going to need some other materials. So right now, these are the main things that we have built. As you can see in the beginning of the game, we now have a lot of resources here already. We're able to upgrade this to level 3 already. To do level 3 upgrade, we need planks, which we can get easily. We have Bright Bomber. Now you do want to get a villager as soon as possible. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Bright Bomber. We're going to get her to come in. You do need to talk to them twice. The first time they're not going to ask to join. The second time you can. Now Bright Bomber is in the village. Assign her a job. Because we are already have some stuff set up, we're going to we're going to have her set to collecting resources, nearby resources. That way we don't have to collect everything ourselves. Now there is a glitch that I have noticed in the game, that if your villagers' beds are under one structure, which is anything connected to each other, they tend to lose their bed, which can be kind of annoying because then you don't know who's assigned to what. Easiest way to fix that is to just build individual huts for each one of them. So now, as you can see down here, where I'm highlighting right now, there's these little icons down here that show you what you get for each level of the village. When you first start, you can get friendly visitors, explorers who will visit your village. You'll get a growing village, which means you can actually add a villager to your village at that point. At level 2, you can have them forage for stuff, which is what I'm having Bright Bomber do currently. You also gain some building materials. In this case, we got a wood hut, as you know, like a log cabin, as well as a couple of other different things here. We're going to be going to level 3 here real quick. Now for that, we get the villagers will occasionally gift you items. Now the items that they gift you are like building recipes and stuff like that, which are really nice. You can get another villager, and you can get a wall, so you can put a wall around your village. which can be useful, along with some other storage options. The other storage options, however, are not as good as your current chest. So I would stay with the current chest. So now that we have all this stuff, we're going to upgrade to level 3. And there we go. We now have a level 3 village. We can dance with everybody. One of my favorite parts of the game is we can celebrate the dance. This is a quick little tutorial on how to build your village up from the start. As you can see, I don't have a whole lot built at the moment. We're already level 3. We have tons of resources, so we can build a whole lot more later on if we want to. We can build more huts, we can build more equipment, we can build more stuff. We can just expand out, so we can do that at night when we're sitting here, gather resources during the day, and then gather whatever you need to upgrade your stuff. Like here we need shells and planks, so we find those things, we can upgrade our workbench. Either which way from there, it's really easy. The main thing we're going to be needing, regardless, no matter what level your village is at, is going to be wood and cobble and stone. So you want to make sure you gather tons of that every opportunity you get. I hope you had fun with this. I hope you learned something, and I hope you have a great day. I am going to leave it here, and we will be doing this again, continuing on. I'm going to show how to upgrade a little bit more, show a little bit about what the villagers can do, show some tips and tricks on how to get some other resources later on, and show one of the best ways to go through caving. So either which way, I hope you have a great day. Tune in for the next episode where I'm going to show you some more of that stuff. Main thing we're going to be showing next time is caving. Hope you have a great day. Be entertained. Bye-bye.